The 80s, that decade in which some of us idiots had teenhood thrust upon us, wasn't exactly known for being the most woke of times. Individualism, conservative politics, consumerism, all of it reigned supreme, sidelining social justice issues in favor of, the pursuit of wealth and success. Grassroots activism existed, but by and large lacked the institutional and cultural clout to challenge these dominant values. Not unlike our own era, perhaps, though, today we seem more inclined to at least make the right noises about the right things, ensuring that our summer blockbusters are films like Barbie and Oppenheimer rather than Revenge of the Nerds or The Woman in Red.
A woman like this walks into a man's life only once. About 7 years after he gets married, and just before he loses his mind. With a woman at home and a woman at the office, how's he ever gonna get the woman in red into bed?
What? Honey, what's the matter?
Oh, nothing.
Watching the latter recently, it's not aged well. Yet, it also seems, in its socioculture underpinnings, a little bit more honest about the dynamics of the sexual marketplace than much of today's rom-commery, which, kind of remains circumscribed by the performative sexual politics and social justice box ticking, as it should. But none of that was required to create, a summer hit back in the 80s. Women in Red, penned, directed, starring Gene Wilder opposite the Anglo-American supermodel Kelly LeBrock, somehow even managed to persuade one of the greatest musical superstars of the time, Stevie Wonder, to create its soundtrack, leading with this devotional love song, this devotional love duet between Stevie and Dionne Warwick, which, if not yoked to the visuals of the film, still manages to get some of us idiots misty-eyed, sentimentally lump-throated when that song pops up on the Spotify playlist. And yet, rewatching The Woman in Red, I couldn't help but be, a little bit bemused by the perplexing decision to enlist a blind man to score a soundtrack for a film whose plot, what little of it there is, hinges almost entirely on the visual and obsessive absurdity of the male sexual gaze.
I look inside my crystal ball of desire and know why rapid beats my heart.
I see the spark, I feel the flame of the fire, letting me know love wants to start.
No more playing around, no more waiting around for the special one to come.
No more wearing a frown, no more tears coming down, 'cause I know what I want.
And I want what I know is you. Nobody has to tell me so. It's you.
It's you.
And you're that angel sent from heaven above. It's you. Nobody has to tell me so.
It's you.
You're that angel sent from heaven above for me.
For you and you. For me.
Not that this has ever, phased Stevie Wonder, of course, who, rises to the challenge by singing in the very first verse of the song about, looking into crystal balls and seeing sparks and fire and looking behind and ahead, and all of these actions presumably engaged in, metaphorically rather than literally when pursuing his love visions. The trailer doesn't really prepare us for just how much ogling of Kelly LeBrock we're actually encouraged to participate in as spectators of this film. And yet, plus ça change, because female TikTok Instagrammers still making capital of their bodies, as they should, in not entirely dissimilar ways. The algorithms parading before our eyes, these sexually alluring female bodies, so as to gain followers and subscribers for the individuals represented by those bodies, and then building as much social and economic capital for these individuals through them revealing to us their sexy bumps and curves, all fed by the envious fascination of women and the drooling fixation of men. So The Woman in Red is supposedly a romantic comedy. So we don't actually get to see, Wilder going wild, as it were. For that, there's always porn.
I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet, sassy, moody, nasty, hacking, stupid. What's happening? What's happening?
But in terms of, let's say, sexual drive, that scopic frenzy that overtakes his character in The Woman in Red, Wilder's fixation clearly just represents this unrestrained visual hunger, reminiscent of, I would say, the raw primal dynamics of courtship in the wild. I mean, do you really want to see what it looks like for a romantic idiot in the field of Eros operating on instinct alone? His pursuit fueled by a relentless need to capture what he sees in front of him. Well, you could either sit down and watch The Woman in Red, or you could go out and have a look at a mallard duck, pursuing one of the females of his species.
Would be undone. If only I had not waited, I would have picked the wrong one. If only I had not waited for you.
I look behind and what a sight is the mind. So very lonely was my heart.
I look ahead, I hear the sound of the choir singing that love will never part.
No more hearing the sounds of the rain coming down. No more I can't see the sun.
No more hurting for fun, 'cause the moment has come when I know what I want.
And I want what I know is you. Nobody else to tell me so.
It's you,
Baby,
yeah,
you're that angel sent from heaven above. It's you. Nobody else to tell me so.
it's you.
You're that angel sent from heaven above for me.
For you and you.
From a 21st century woke perspective, the male mallard duck, in his most frisky state, might be seen, predatory, almost disturbingly aggressive, the pursuit of the female, unrelenting, devoid of any notion of consent, and often, as you can see, pretty brutal. Does she look like she's having fun? I don't think she is. But wokeism, unfortunately, hasn't yet anthropomorphized the actual birds and the bees. So, all good. It's you, goes the refrain in the song. It's you, nobody has to tell me so. And indeed, nobody ever has to tell the male sexual gaze how to look, how to behave, when it has been triggered by whatever irresistible visual signifier that triggers it. That is how it functions, that is how we function. Which is to say, instinctively, with all of these various autonomic responses responding to cues deeply embedded within our biology and also our culture. The seeking instinct, the sexual drive extends, of course it does, beyond the pursuit of just romantic and sexual interests and intrigues. It permeates pretty much every facet of human behavior. Think of the must-have delirium echoing the intensity of sexual desires and how it saturates consumer culture. The market amplifies these urges, imbuing our desires with both personal, social meanings. Like the classic male gaze, the consumer gaze, whether male or female, is always seeking, decoding, attributing value to signals that hint at an enhanced identity status or self-worth. Just as a bird or an animal, we might say, is driven biologically to pursue a mate when triggered by the right visual or chemical cues, so do we, consumers, instinctively pursue objects framed as indispensable, even if momentarily, to, personal or social identity. Why? Well, I suppose these are signs from heaven, the song suggests, omens of something transcendent and irresistible. In consumption, whether it's of an object or a person, we get to sample, or at least believe we will sample at some point, this sublimity, the magnetic allure, the heady anticipation, the electric thrill of that ethereal realm, even if just for a fleeting moment, whilst passing through the lips or gliding across our eyeballs. It's all about anticipatory emotions. And for all our clever ways with words and ideas, we still are, right, a little bit like that mallard duck. Creatures evolve through instincts, survival imperatives, deeply encoded impulses to participate in the sexual marketplace. This is to say, we fall in love, we pursue desire in ways that, when stripped of our social rituals, reveal themselves as elemental drives. We spy, we stalk, we chase, we court, we dominate, we yield, and in our darker expressions, we are often pushing boundaries that blur respect, coercion. And while our courtship dances may look refined at times, underneath lies a force no more sophisticated than that which governs the rest of the animal kingdom. When we know what we want and want what we know, as the song suggests, it's all really very simple. And who's to stop us from fulfilling our desires, no matter where they take us? Guns, rape, wherever, right? No matter who or what they fixate on. God, civil law, social mores, those don't seem to be working anymore, folks.
If only I had not waited, I would have picked the wrong one. If only I had not waited, my life would be undone. If only I had not waited, I would have picked the wrong one. If only I had not waited for you. 'Cause baby, it's you. Oh, nobody else to tell me so. It's you. You're that angel sent from heaven above. It's you. Nobody else to tell me so. It's you. It's you. And you're that angel sent from heaven above for me. For you. Me for you, baby, yeah. If only I had not waited, I would have picked the wrong one. If only I had not waited, my life would be undone. If only I had not waited, I would have picked the wrong one. Wrong one. If only I had not waited for you. 'Cause baby,